Hello everyone, it's me again. Today, I will continue to summarize the movie Spider-Man 2. In this part of the movie, Peter Parker has to try to balance between fighting crime as Spider-Man and the needs of daily life, family responsibilities, and feelings for the person he loves. Can Peter balance his life? Please follow along. Every day, Peter imagines seeing Mary's image looking at him. However, he has chosen a life full of responsibility. Although he loves she very much, but he knows that if they are together, she will face many dangers. Peter is reprimanded by the pizza shop owner, Aziz, for being late. Aziz delivers 8 pizzas to him and requires them to be delivered to customers within 8 minutes, otherwise he will be fired. He rushes down the street, just avoiding a car and almost having an accident at a red light. Looking at his watch, seeing that he is not on time, Peter decides to go into an alley. Soon after, Spider-Man appears with pizza in hand. He also saves 2 children from danger, and they thank him. After that, Spider-Man quickly continues to deliver the pizza. When he arrives, Peter is scolded by the female employee from the warehouse for being late and not paying for the pizza. Returning to the store, the boss is very angry and fires Peter. Later, at the newspaper office, Peter loses his job again. The owner of the newspaper, Jameson, criticized Peter for taking bad photos, and he just wanted pictures of Spider-Man. In need of money, Peter gives him a photo of Spider-Man, and he uses it as the front page with the headline, "A masked menace terrorizes the city." He pays Peter a small amount of money and tells him to take the check to the secretary. However, this amount is still not enough to pay for his advance. The secretary comforts Peter to keep his head up. Peter went to school and ran into Professor Connors. He was actually on his way to this professor's class. The professor notes that Peter's grades are dropping, he is often late for class, and always seems tired. Peter expresses his desire to continue studying and suggests writing a research paper on Dr. Otto Octavius. The professor agrees to give him a chance, but advises him to do well or he will fail. When he gets home, Peter is surprised to see Harry and Mary, whom he is in love with. It turns out that it is his birthday. It has been 2 years since Harry's father died, and this is the first time the 3 friends have seen each other in a long time. Harry is now the head of research at Oscorp, and Mary has become a famous actress. Harry also reveals that Mary has been waiting for he for the past 2 years, just because he has been avoiding her even though he loves her very much. Harry also wants to know who Spider-Man is, and why he killed his father. Then, Peter sees a notice of foreclosure for non-payment of mortgage. He took Aunt May's hand, and she asked him if he had a good time today. Worried about his aunt, Peter said he had seen the letter from the bank. His aunt reassured him that this happened to everyone. Aunt even gave he $20 for his ride home. She cried, so she missing Uncle Ben, who had died 2 years ago? She even wrapped cake for Peter to take home. While taking out the trash, Peter saw Mary again. It felt like the first time they had spoken 2 years ago. She asked he if he wanted to say anything. Looking at her, his heart was broken. He wanted to hug her and tell her how much he loved her. Then, she wished him a happy birthday and left, saying that she had a boyfriend. He was shocked. He promised to come to her performance tomorrow, and she had been looking forward to it. Peter returned home, and the landlord, Dickovich, reminded him that he was a month late on his rent. Peter promised to pay next week, as he only had $20. However, he quickly took the money and warned Peter not to run away. His daughter, Magina, liked Peter very much. In the room, Peter sat in contemplation, enduring all the pressure on his small shoulders. The next morning, Peter went to Oscorp, where Harry introduced him to Dr. Otto Octavius. Octavius knew why he came and commented that he was very smart, but advised him to work harder because intelligence was a gift. Octavius hoped that he would use his abilities to help humanity. Immediately, he showed a deep understanding of Octavius's ideas and passion, which impressed Octavius. However, Octavius warned that even a small mistake could have serious consequences. Octavius's wife, Rosie, advised him to rest early to prepare well for the presentation the next day, but he could not sleep because this was his life's research. Rosie asked Peter if he had a girlfriend, and he hesitantly replied that he was not sure. Octavius advised he not to keep his feelings to himself, because if he let love slip away, it would be difficult to find it again. Octavius also advised he to read more literature to improve his feelings. He bought some books and read them right away. That night, he wore a smart suit to see Mary perform and chose a beautiful bouquet of flowers for her. On the way, a robber bumped into Peter. Between love and responsibility, he chose to follow his reason. He using a spider web to save the people and catch the robber. In the end, The two robbers were hung upside down on a lamp post. Mary was nervous before the show and was looking forward to Peter coming to see her perform, but was disappointed. Later, Bruce and Usher did not let Peter in because he was late, so he had to wait outside for Mary. When he saw her coming out of the theater, he wanted to approach her, but immediately after that, he saw her kissing someone else. His heart ached, and he could only stand still and watch the person he loved walk away with someone else. Peter continued his journey for justice and the responsibility of Spider-Man. While flying through a building, he suddenly fell. He lost his ability to shoot webs, his vision returned to normal, and he had to use the elevator like everyone else. He returned home sadly, Mary's image appearing in his mind everywhere. He went to the phone booth to explain why he couldn't come, but she was fed up with his promises and didn't want to listen to his explanation. He realized that she no longer cared about him. His heart was heavy with sadness. The next morning, Peter attends a lecture by Dr. Octavius. This is a thermolith experiment. The goal is to create a safe, renewable, and cheap source of energy for everyone. Octavius shows everyone 4 tentacles that can withstand heat and magnetism. These tentacles are connected to his brain, allowing him to control the thermolith reaction. However, there are concerns that this artificial intelligence may affect his health. He showed everyone the chip behind his back, which protected his brain functions, so tentacles wouldn't control him back. Then, he begins the experiment by placing tritium, a rare element, in the center. When beams of light are shined on it, a fireball appears. The experiment is successful, and a major breakthrough. However, problems begin when items such as jewelry are sucked into the sphere. Octavius claims he can control the situation. Then Spider-Man appeared and saved Harry's life, but unfortunately the Octavius's wife, Rosie, is stabbed and killed by a broken mirror. Seeing this scene, he had not yet acted when the fireball damaged the chip, seriously threatening his life. Peter quickly turned off the power, saving he. When he was admitted to the hospital, the tentacles had already attached themselves to Octavius' nerves. When the doctors prepared to cut off the tentacles, they suddenly revived and killed all the doctors. Editorial owner Jameson reported this news to all the newspapers. Everyone knew Octavius by the nickname Dr. Octopus. In a deserted place in the city, Octavius discovered that his wife had passed away. He could not control the tentacles as he wished, and was affected by artificial intelligence. He went to the bank to rob money. Unfortunately for him, Peter was also there with his aunt. He took Aunt May hostage. But Peter rescued his aunt, and he took the opportunity to attack Peter. With Aunt May's help, Peter avoided the attack, but then he threw Aunt May from a height. Peter saved his aunt in time. At this time, Aunt May also changed her view of Spider-Man. At a party, Peter accidentally saw Mary holding hands with John, an astronaut and Jameson's son. He went to she and began to confess his feelings to her, but she said it was too late. She felt that in times of happiness and loneliness, her family was always by her side, but he was not there. After many years, he still could not give she any hope. Even Harry, his best friend, was quite angry with him. Then he heard that Mary was about to marry John. After returning home, Peter lost his ability to shoot webs. He fell from a height, right at the place where he discovered that special ability. Then, he goes to the doctor and is diagnosed with stress-induced psychosis. The doctor said he must feel very confused not knowing who he is, as if his soul had disappeared. Sitting in bed, Peter thinks about Uncle Ben and confides that he loves Mary very much. Uncle Ben advises that he has been given a gift and reminds him that with great power comes great responsibility. He is tired of choosing between his passion for saving people and living as a normal person. He decides to throw the Spider-Man suit in the trash, giving up on his dream. Peter starts his life again as a normal person, studious, cheerful, punctual. Professor Connors is very proud of he. Peter also goes to see Mary perform, and Mary recognizes him. Peter asks Mary out to dinner, but she says she is getting married. He feels disappointed that their relationship never started and has no clear ending. He confesses that he has feelings and has changed, but she just looks at him and leaves. At this time, a garbage collector brings a Spider-Man suit to the newspaper office. Jameson arrogantly declares that the press has finally won, and Spider-Man has given up. The newspapers all report that Spider-Man has disappeared. On the way home from school, Peter sees 2 big guys beating up a weak guy, but he left, just like he gave up on his dream. Then, he also confesses to Aunt May about Uncle Ben's death, saying that he was partly responsible. He recounted the incident of that night. He was the one who let the robber escape, and was the one who held Uncle Ben's hand when he died. Can't believe what Peter said, so Aunt went upstairs. At this time, Octavius had also set up his research project. The only thing he needed was tritium. Octavius went to Harry to get the tritium. Octavius intended to kill he, but he made a condition. If Octavius captured Spider-Man and brought to he would hand over all the tritium Octavius needed. He also told Octavius not to harm Peter. Peter saw a burning house, similar to the first time he saved someone. But now, he was no longer Spider-Man. He risked his life to save a small child. Instead of being praised, he received news that there were still people upstairs and they were dead, because he was no longer a superhero. He blamed himself and wondered if he had chosen the right path. Magina, the landlord's daughter, knocked on Peter's door to invite him to have some cake and milk. Actually, she really liked he. She gave him a letter from Aunt May. He quickly went to see Aunt May while she was cleaning the house. Aunt thanked he for being brave enough to tell her the truth. Aunt told he that very few people sacrificed themselves bravely for others like that. That was an example for everyone to admire. There was always a hero who was an example of honesty. Their strength made them noble and eventually died with pride, even though they had to give up their most desired things, even their dreams. Everyone needed Spider-Man. Peter started jumping from floor to floor, but unfortunately his strength had not returned and he fell. Mary kissed her fiancé, John, the same way she kissed Spider-Man, but this time she was not as excited as before. At a small restaurant, Mary invited Peter over. She changed her mind and wanted to be with him, accepting his feelings. However, Peter rejected her feelings, breaking her heart again. She wanted he to kiss her. At that moment, Octavius appeared. Instead of killing he, Octavius captured Mary, to force he to reveal Spider-Man's hideout. Peter got his strength back. He went to Octavius, and the two engaged in a fierce battle, eventually falling onto a train. Octavius used the passengers to threaten Spider-Man and damage the steering system, causing the train to run at full speed. Seeing that the road ahead was dead, Peter used his feet to stop, and used spider webs to pull the train back. However, the train still rushed forward. Then, he shot all his spider webs to stop the train. Finally, the train stopped and all danger was temporarily over. Peter was exhausted, and everyone helped him inside. When he woke up, he found that his mask was gone. Everyone reassured he that they would keep the secret. He puts his mask back on, and everyone helps him up. Then, Octavius arrives to capture him to take to Harry. Harry has been waiting for this moment for a long time. In front of him is the man who killed his father. The opportunity for revenge has appeared. When he takes off the mask, he is surprised to realize that the person is Peter. Peter explains to he that Octavius has kidnapped Mary and begs Harry to reveal Octavius' location so that he can stop it before it's too late. With tritium in hand, Octavius starts operating the thermonuclear experiment and declares Spider-Man dead. However, then, Spider-Man arrives and confronts he. However, the experiment malfunctions and starts sucking everything around it. Mary is also sucked in, but Peter turns back to save her. When attacked by he, Peter uses an electric wire to defend himself. Peter wakes he up and removes the mask so that he can recognize Peter. Then, Peter asks he to show how to turn off this fireball. But he used his tentacles to strangle Peter's. Peter reminds he that sometimes, to do the right thing, they must give up things precious to their, even their dreams. Peter's words bring his to his senses. He said there was one way to turn it off, and that was to drown it in the river. He is believing that he created it, and that he should be the one to end it. Mary was surprised to learn that Peter was Spider-Man, who had been protecting her all this time. When a wall collapsed, Peter quickly blocked it to protect Mary. He used his life to protect the one he loved. Octavius sank into the river with the sphere, just like his dream collapsed. Peter carried Mary away from danger, just like he had saved her 2 years ago. At this time, Peter explained the reason why the two could not be together, because he did not want her to be in danger, so he rejected she again. But this time, she understood his feelings. At this time, Harry was haunted by the image of his father, who wanted him to kill Peter for revenge. He threw the knife to break the glass and discovered a secret room containing the serum invented by his father, along with the armor and the surfboard. Mary was preparing for the wedding. She left a letter for the groom and followed her heart. Mary went to Peter's apartment and said that she couldn't live without him. Even if she had to die, she would accept it as long as she was with the one she loved. She wanted to face the dangers with him, and she very loved he. While they were kissing, they heard a cry for help, and he had to carry out justice. He understood that with power comes great responsibility. Mary understood the dangers that Peter had to endure alone. That's the end of the movie. Remember that everyone has their own dreams. Sometimes, We have to give up on our dreams for some reason, but remember that we still have family, friends, and loved ones around us. Don't let it go, and regret it all your life. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to get the latest movie recap. See you again.